suspects have now made their first court appearance in the Magistrates Court in Johannesburg in connection with the murder of the whistleblower Babita Deokaran. She was shot and killed outside her home after dropping off her daughter at school last week. She was the Chief Director of Financial Accounting at the Gauteng Health Department and a witness in the Special Investigation Unit's multi-million rand personal protective equipment tender fraud investigation. The Gauteng Premier David Mukura has said her killing was a hit. 7 suspects were arrested. Charges against the seventh suspect has now been provisionally withdrawn. Newzroom Afrika reporter Zikhona Tshona was at court for us. She's back here now. Zikhona, good afternoon to you. Just take us through what happened in court.
So throughout the weekend and until the early hours of the morning, we had been reporting that 7 suspects are expected to appear in court in connection with the murder. At court, only 6 appeared. The Hawks are saying that they have provisionally withdrawn charges against the 7th suspect. There's nothing yet that links him to what happened, but he could be brought back at any point in this investigation. So as the investigation continues, the Hawks are saying that more people could also be arrested. In terms of charges, they are facing charges of murder, attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, as well as for being in possession of an illegal firearm and ammunition. The attempted murder charge, the Hawks are saying, at the time of the shooting, there was a passenger in that car. So that's the attempted murder charge. The others are all in connection with the deceased.
So then the person who the charges were provisionally withdrawn against, because whenever this happens, I mean, you know, your mind sort of, my mind anyway, goes a bit mad with what the implications could be. They're simply saying there's a lack of evidence. There's no hint this person is going to testify or anything like that.
And they're not giving much detail on their investigation. You understand it's still quite early on. The suspects were arrested 3 days after the shooting, and we didn't actually hear about the arrests until a day or 2 after, because the police want to keep the information very close. They don't want too much detail to come out about this, given the fact that the investigation is still ongoing. What we know about the suspects is that the youngest is 22, the eldest is 30, and they were all from KZN. They were all arrested in KZN and had to be brought to Gauteng to answer to this case. In as far as where they are employed is concerned, there's not much detail around that. And as far as them having previous cases or pending cases, not much detail around that. Even on this suspect whose charges have now provisionally been withdrawn, we don't know anything about him other than his name and his age, which were presented in the charge sheet in court, even though he was not there. So not that much detail. We read in the Sunday Times over the weekend, for example, that she had been followed for a period of a month in the lead up to this shooting, and also that the suspects or whoever is involved in this case, those who committed the murder, had actually managed to use technology to remotely disconnect the cameras that are close to her home. So all those investigations, all those details rather, will be revealed in court as this investigation continues. As you've mentioned, we are back in court on the 13th of September for the accused to apply for bail.
There's so many aspects to this. I mean, the President's newsletter focused on this morning. The Gauteng Premier's demanded action. Everyone, I mean, civil society is up in arms over this. I would imagine we saw that in court as well. Huge attention.
Huge attention from the side of the media. The court proceedings, as you know, do start at around 9 o'clock each morning. This case only sat at around 11, 12. The media was fortunately granted permission to be inside court and film the accused, but the court proceedings today were very short, very brief. It was just for them to be, for their legal teams to be introduced to the magistrate, for example, and for their charges to be read out in court. So not much activity in as far as court is concerned. I think we were in the court proceedings themselves for not more than 5 minutes, because just for the formalities and then to postpone for the formal bail application.
Newzroom Afrika reporter Zikhona Tshona, thanks very much indeed. Do appreciate it.